All right, good afternoon. I hope everyone can see and hear, and I believe, Ms. Swin, you have yours on mute.
Good morning, or good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, and Mr. Perales, do you hear us okay?
Yes, Judge, I can hear. What about me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. And Ms. Heisel?
Yes, Judge, everything seems to be working fine.
Okay, excellent. All right, before I forget, Mr. Perales, let me go ahead and have you raise your right hand. I'm gonna place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that you will make a true translation of the statements of the court, the questions of counsel, and the testimony to be given by the witness in the matter now on trial to the best of your skill and judgment? So help you God.
I do.
All right, go ahead and make your appearance for the record.
Yes, this is Leonard Perales. I am a licensed court interpreter. My license number is 1585.
Thank you, Mr. Perales. Ms. Nguyen, you had appearance for the record.
Yes, Your Honor, my win on behalf of the defendant Yeltsin Martinez Valdez.
Ms.
Se
Heisel,
ha presentado a Mai Wen representando al acusado Yeltsin Martínez Valdés.
and I'm sorry, Mr. Perales, let me see. Have I joined you to the,
Not yet, Judge. Is the deputy going to be able to go to the computer and put it on Spanish?
yes, I believe so. Bailiff, were you able to switch to the Spanish channel?
Judge, I don't have the globe at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay, all right, so we'll just have to figure it out this way. All right. All right, we are set. In this case, this is CR 20-33 and CR 20-35 State versus Yeltsin Martinez Valdez.
Muy bien, entonces estamos tomando los casos de Yeltsin Martínez Valdés, números de caso CR 2033 y CR 2035.
And we are set today on a motion to substitute counsel filed by Ms. May Nguyen.
La audiencia de hoy tiene que ver con una petición presentada por la abogada Wen pidiendo que se sustituya o se supla al abogado defensor.
I want the record to reflect that we had a hearing very recently for Mr. Martinez Valdez, in which his retained counsel at that time was Mr. Ray Jackson. And Mr. Jackson filed a motion to withdraw and indicated to the court that Mr. Martinez Valdez wanted to retain his own counsel. Go ahead, Mr. Perales.
Y quiero hacer constar que recientemente tuvimos una audiencia para el señor Martínez Valdés aquí y él tenía un abogado, Ray Jackson, pero el señor Jackson presentó una petición para retirarse del caso, indicando que el señor Martínez Valdés quería contratar a otro abogada.
The court allowed Mr. Jackson to withdraw, and upon his being withdrawn from the case, the defendant indicated that he was indigent and did not have the ability to retain counsel and requested court-appointed counsel. Go ahead, Mr. Perales.
Y el señor Jackson sí se le permitió salirse del caso o retirarse del caso. Tan pronto esto sucedió, el acusado, el señor Yeltsin, presentó una petición indicando que era indigente, pobre y no tenía los ingresos para contratar a un abogado y por esta razón pidió un abogado de oficio.
Court provided its indigent counsel application forms to the defendant, and the defendant completed those, submitted them to the court, and the court found Mr. Martinez Valdez to be indigent and appointed counsel in the case, Mr. Richard Schmidt. Go ahead,
Y tan pronto le entregamos una solicitud de indigencia al señor, él lo llenó y se le determinó que sí era de escasos recursos, y por esta razón se le determinó que sí era indigente y se le asignó al abogado Richard Schmidt.
And now Ms. Nguyen has filed a motion to substitute. So the court is somewhat confused on whether Mr. Martinez Valdez is asking for court-appointed counsel or if he is asking for the substitution of Ms. Nguyen. And I need some clarification on that. Ms. Nguyen, go ahead.
Por eso estamos un poco confundidos en cuanto a esta petición de sustituir o suplir al abogado. No sabemos si el señor Valdés está pidiendo un abogado de oficio o está pidiendo que supla a los abogados. Adelante, señora Nguyen, con sus comentarios.
Yes, Your Honor. I met with Mr. Martinez Valdez's family earlier last week, and they had indicated that they wanted to retain me to represent him, and I believe they were in communication with him as well. After they retained me, I filed the motion for substitution of counsel in both matters. I forwarded the same to Mr. Schmidt, but I did not receive a sign.
By the interpreter, you did not receive what at the end?
I'm sorry, the motion for substitution of counsel signed by Mr. Schmidt.
Ok. Sí, quisiera comentar que hablé con la familia del señor Martínez Valdés y ellos me indicaron que me querían contratar y tan pronto eso sucedió, yo presenté mi solicitud pidiendo que se supla al abogado. Envié una copia al señor Schmidt, pero no recibí su firma en esa solicitud.
And Ms. Nguyen, I don't want you to disclose anything that's attorney-client privilege, but is there any assurance you can give the court that you have been retained for the duration of this case, including trial?
Y señora Nguyen, sin usted divulgar nada de detalles que son confidenciales entre usted y su cliente, ¿hay alguna seguridad de que usted sí fue contratada concretamente para la duración del caso hasta el juicio?
Judge, I have been retained for the duration of this matter, but that did not include a trial. That included disposition through a plea bargaining phase.
Su señoría, quisiera comentar que sí me han contratado para los servicios y duración de este asunto, pero no hasta ir a juicio, solamente para resolver el caso mediante un acuerdo y resolver el caso fuera de juicio.
My concern would become that if I allow you to substitute counsel and the defendant does not reach a plea agreement, then the court would be faced at another juncture of determining whether or not he is still indigent and allowing yet a third attorney on the case, which I believe could deprive him with the speedy disposition of his case.
Lo único que me preocupa, señora, es que si yo permito que usted sustituya al abogado y no llegan a un acuerdo para resolver el caso según su acuerdo con él, y llegaremos hasta el punto en donde vamos a tener que posiblemente considerar el asunto de indigencia y vamos a tener que hacer arreglos con un tercer abogado, y eso va a impedir el derecho del acusado de tener un juicio sin demora.
I understand your concerns, Judge. Would you like me to confer with the defendant and his family before you grant this motion and see if we can come to some sort of agreement regarding that aspect of the case?
Entiendo. Gustaría, señor juez, que yo hable con mi cliente, el acusado y su familia antes que usted tome la decisión en cuanto a esta petición de sustituir para ver cómo se va a resolver o vamos a proceder en el caso.
Ms. Heisel, I see that my docket says that he's indicted with a second and third degree felony. Have offers been made in these cases?
Yes, Your Honor, and the offers, well, I say that. The offers have not been communicated to Ms. Nguyen, to my knowledge. The offers were made to Mr. Jackson, the previous attorney. Discovery has been shared with Ms. Nguyen from what I can see from our side, but she and I have not been able to have a conversation regarding what the offer is.
What are the standing offers in the case?
Sí, por parte de la Fiscalía, estos dos casos son delitos graves de segundo grado y de tercer grado. Las ofertas para resolver los dos casos no se los hemos comunicado a esta abogada, solamente se las comunicamos al señor Jackson, el abogado anterior. Pero ya sí compartimos las pruebas también con la señora Gwen, pero no nos hemos sentado y hablado sobre estas pruebas.
Your Honor, the current offer on the unlawful interference case, the second degree, is 10 deferred with a $3,000 fine and 1245ing that third degree tampering as a condition of the plea.
By the interpreter, 1245, the second case.
Yes, the tampering case.
Okay. La oferta, de hecho, quisiéramos constar que la oferta es el siguiente para resolver los dos casos, que es en cuanto al primer cargo de interferencia ilícita, se le va a extender una oferta de 10 años de suspensión condicional con una multa de $3,000, y el segundo caso se va a desestimar según el artículo 1245 Código de Procedimientos Penales.
And Judge, there are two unindicted cases that would be 1245 as well. Mr. Martinez Valdez asked about those last time we were at the court. We were unable to give him an answer at that time, but if this case were to end in a plea agreement, the state does not plan on having those indicted and proceeding with those.
Y de hecho también como el señor Martínez había hablado en la última audiencia, sí hay dos casos pendientes que no se han presentado ante el gran jurado del condado, pero si es que sí se resuelve los casos mediante este acuerdo, no tenemos planes de imputar esos dos cargos adicionales.
This would be the court's position. I would grant the motion to substitute counsel and allow Ms. Nguyen to represent the defendant. However, if there is a request in the future that Mr. Martinez Valdez be given court-appointed counsel, the court's going to consider these last two hearings with retained counsel, Mr. Jackson and Ms. Nguyen, as evidence that he is not indigent. He requested a court-appointed attorney. The court provided that. We translated all the forms, gave that to Mr. Martinez Valdez, and then less than a week after that, then we're getting a letter of representation. So the court's going to consider this the next time there's a request if Ms. Nguyen withdraws. So the defendant needs to be aware of that.
Entonces, quiero que el acusado sepa lo siguiente. Yo como juez estoy inclinado a hacer lo siguiente. Sí estoy inclinado a aprobar la solicitud de la abogada Nguyen de sustituirse en este caso. Pero si en el futuro el señor Martínez Valdez solicita el abogado de oficio indicando que no tiene los ingresos para contratar a su propio abogado, voy a tomar en cuenta estas dos últimas audiencias que tuvimos en donde él tenía un abogado pagado por su propio bolsillo como pruebas de que no es una persona pobre o indigente, y ya que cuando él sí solicitó el abogado de oficio, inmediatamente se le dio la solicitud, lo traducimos a su idioma y en menos de una semana él contrató a la señora Nguyen. Solamente quiero que el acusado sepa todo esto que estamos hablando.
Do you understand?
Señor Martínez Valdez, ¿sí entendió lo que dijo el juez?
Sí.
¿Mande?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, then the court, considering the motion to substitute counsel, the court will grant the substitution of May Nguyen as counsel for the defendant, and the court will withdraw Mr. Richard Schmidt. The court has been communicated with Mr. Schmidt, and Mr. Schmidt's indicated that he's not going to bill the county for any representation he has given to the defendant thus far, so there should be no indigent defense cost for this defendant.
Entonces, mi decisión será la siguiente. Voy a aprobar esa solicitud de la abogada May Nguyen de sustituirse en el caso y voy a permitir que el señor Richard Schmidt de nuevo se tache del caso. Ya tenemos constancia del abogado Schmidt que él no va a facturar al condado por ningunos gastos de representación.
All right, so are you aware of the next setting, Ms. Nguyen?
I'm not, Your Honor.
Give me-
Entonces, le vamos a avisar a la señora Nguyen de las próximas audiencias.
for just a moment. I'm going to find that information and give it to you.
Thank you, Judge.
I don't see that we have a pretrial setting yet. I don't see it in my system. So let's set this matter for pretrial. I believe that the defendant has already been arraigned. Jackson. So let's set this for pretrial. And Ms. Nguyen, if you have your calendar available, I like to check with your availability before we cement this date.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Thank you for checking.
Would you be available on either July 7th or July 9th?
And would this be in person, Judge?
It could be via Zoom or in person.
I have court settings in Dallas County, both of those mornings, but I'm available either afternoon.
It would be set in the afternoon. So the way we conduct it here is our bail cases are at in the AM and our jail cases are in the PM. So if you're available on the 7th or the 9th, which one would you prefer?
We can do the 7th, Judge.
All right, then we'll set this for pretrial on July 7th. And if you need to file any pretrial motions, they need to be raised 7 days prior to that date. Notice provided to the state.
Yes, Your Honor.
On that pretrial date, really what the court would be looking for is any contested pretrial motions, motion to quash, motion to suppress, things of that nature. Motions in limine, motions for discovery, those things would be carried, well, motions for discovery wouldn't be carried to trial, but the court has a standing criminal pretrial discovery order, and the state provides their discovery anyway. So really, I'd just be looking for an announcement on whether or not there's contested pretrial motions. And if not, then we'll either set it for a docket call or we can set it for a plea.
All right, Judge, that sounds great.
Muy bien,
Right.
entonces la
No.
próxima audiencia se va a llevar a cabo el día 7 de julio, en donde la abogada se va a comparecer mediante el sistema de videoconferencia. Todas las peticiones que ella va a tener que presentar se tienen que presentar 7 días antes. Esa será la fecha acordada.
Go ahead, Ms. Nguyen.
Was that 2 p.m., Judge?
Well, I'll tell you what, while we have Mr. Perales on the phone, let's see if Mr. Perales is available. I usually ask him. He gets to run the show.
Yes, Judge.
And is 2 p.m. preferable or a different time, Mr. Perales?
That works.
All right, 2 p.m. Then we'll just schedule it for 2 p.m. We may have other jail clients that day, but what we'll do is we'll take him up right at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Judge.
Entonces va a ser a las 2 de la tarde el día 7 de julio.
All right, does he have any questions, Mr. Perales?
Señor Martínez, ¿tiene alguna pregunta adicional?
No, está bien, así está bien, gracias.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
All right, then we will see the defendant back on July 7th at 2 p.m. And Ms. Nguyen, if you're going to appear Zoom, if you'll just let my coordinator know.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
All right.
Está
thank
bien,
you.
entonces nos vemos el 7 de julio a las 2. La abogada posiblemente se conectará por video también. Es todo.
Mr. Perales,
Yes.
hang tight after the others leave, please.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing further, then we are adjourned in this hearing. Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Thank you, Ms.
Judge.
Maybe excuse Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
And Judge Martin, would you stick around as well, please?
Absolutely not. How dare you? Hang on. Let me.
The bench